Have you ever wanted to be an absolute menace to society for no reason? And no, I'm not talking about becoming a shitty prank YouTuber, looking at you, Jack. I'm talking about Untitled Goose Game, made by House. I kept getting recommended this game, so I decided to give it a go. We started this game in the best way possible, buried in bush. The game taught me how to run, how to honk, how to flap my wings, all vital skills for a goose in the modern age who wants to terrorize middle-class England. It also taught me how to crouch and how to pick things up with my beak. Very cool. We broke open this fence somehow, apparently we're a really strong goose, and made our way into a nice pond where we were greeted by a loading screen and our first to-do list. These to-do lists change from level to level and serve kind of like hints for what we're supposed to do to finish each section of the game. As you can see, our first one says, get into the garden, which was pretty easy. All I had to do was turn on this hose, and the gardener gets upset, comes outside, turns it off, leaving the gate open for me to sneak inside. Task number 1, complete. Check. I spent some time exploring the garden and stealing random things. Then I found the picnic blanket where we would have to collect a bunch of items to complete the have a picnic task. We needed a sandwich, an apple, a pumpkin, a carrot, jam, a thermos, a radio, and a basket. I started by stealing everything that wasn't nailed down, including this guy's entire picnic. For some reason, this pissed the gardener off, so I turned on all the water features on his property in hopes of distracting him while I attempted to steal the jar of jam. It didn't really work, but I did manage to bait him into the lake, finishing off my task to get the gardener wet. Check. I attempted to steal the radio a second time, but the gardener again thwarted me. I decided on a new strategy that involved hiding the radio way out by the back gate to draw his attention while I stole the jam jar. The strategy worked relatively well. I was able to get the jam jar over to the picnic blanket. I then stole this giant basket, which, again, how am I this strong, followed by both halves of this sandwich and an apple. This left only the pumpkin, thermos, and the radio. I started by lugging this giant pumpkin all the way over to the blanket. My little goose body managed to lug a pumpkin the same size as me all the way over to this picnic blanket. I then decided to try and throw the rake in the lake to complete another to-do, but got stopped at the last minute. I used my proximity to the gardener to go up and steal his keys, which checked off another to-do. I then realized that he had stolen my pumpkin, so I had to lug it back all over again, only to find him waiting for me near the picnic blanket. We fought for a moment, but then something weird happened, and we ended up engaging in this little dance. For a moment, I felt a connection greater than gardener and goose. Then I stole his keys and ran away. This distracted him long enough for me to return my pumpkin to the picnic blanket. I was on my way back with the thermos when I saw him once again taking my pumpkin. So I closed his gate, stole his keys once again, and got the secret to do for locking him out of the garden. While he was busy retrieving his keys, I finished up my picnic, 4 to-dos down. I dragged this shovel into the lake, hoping the gardener would go and retrieve it, allowing me time to go steal his rake. My first attempt did not at all go as planned, so I changed my strategy. This time I brought a bag of fertilizer all the way to this corner. Did it really serve as a distraction? No, but it made me feel smart, and we were able to successfully dump the rake in the lake. Now is a good time to mention that once you finish a certain number of tasks, the game gives you an additional to-do to unlock the next area. In this case, I had to scare the man while he was hammering in a sign so that he smacked his thumb. It scared him so bad that he died, but being the benevolent goose deity I am, I resurrected him before moving on to the next section of the game. We arrived in this nice looking plaza area with a whole new list of to-do. Break the broom, trap the boy in the telephone booth, make the boy wear the wrong glasses, make somebody buy their own stuff back, get on TV, and go shopping. It seemed easy enough. I figured that to break the broom I should steal it and take it as far away as possible while I figured out how to break it. Turns out, I'm really not that smart. I realized I had to play tug of war with the lady, so I had to drag the broom all the way back to the shop and fight with her. Once again, the goose displayed its divine strength, tearing the broom in two. Next, we dropped the boy's toy plane off in the store so that he would have to come back and rebuy it. I found this toothbrush in the garbage and put it into my shopping basket. One item down. I then began my reign of terror on the poor visually challenged child, honking at him until he ran away and locked himself in the phone booth. Check. My honking drew the attention of the television attendant, who left the door wide open. Naturally, I had to accept their invitation and waltzed my way into the store, clicking the very obviously placed button, switching all the TVs to display a live feed of me, the goose god of legend. Check. After that, I continued my reign of terror on the little boy, scaring him over to the shop, where I watched satisfied as he was forced to buy back his toy plane. Check. God, I love capitalism. I decided on a new strategy for my shopping task. I dragged the basket far away so the lady wouldn't steal back all the items I took from her. I dragged a roll of toilet paper over to my corner as well. It really got me wondering why exactly my goose needed to go shopping in the first place. He doesn't need any of this stuff. He's just a kleptomaniac. I stole a carrot, and then an orange, and some canned beans. I realize now that the boy was way too happy, so I stole some glasses from the store, untied both of the boy's shoes, and waited until he bent to fix them. I then stole his glasses, taking them very far away, making him replace them with the cheap, non-prescription pair I stole. This way he would never be able to see again. I stole some house cleaner and used a hairbrush to finish off my shopping list. Then I finished the last to-do by trapping the lady in her garage, forcing her to use the side door and open up the gate for me to move on. I strolled down the path before breaking into some old guy's backyard. Our next set of to-dos included making someone break their fancy vase, helping the woman dress her bust, nice, making a man spit out his tea, get dressed in a ribbon, make the man go barefoot, and do the wash. I spent a little time scouting out the area before breaking into the woman's side of the yard. I stole the red ribbon from the neck of this fake goose. I then stole the goose statue and dragged it over to my goon lake for later. I posed in its place like a good little goy and got dressed up in the ribbon. Check. Next, I waited for the man to sip his tea and smacked this giant bell, causing him to spit it out. Check. I spent some time messing around in the garden before committing even more property damage to create a ramp to the man's half of the garden. I stole the fancy vase and brought it to the man, who promptly threw it back over the fence, causing it to shatter. As soon as he sat back down to enjoy his newspaper, I stole his slipper and ran away. I tried stealing his second slipper, but got bored and started to do a different task. I had to steal the 3 items sitting on the man's table and take them to the woman. That way she could dress her bust. I stole all of them pretty easily, briefly glitching out for a moment while stealing the glasses. Just more proof that this goose was in fact a secret demonic apparition. And then boom, another task done. I started collecting all the clothing needed to do the wash, but then my game crashed and I had to restart the wash all over again. I stole the man's slipper again, making sure to lick his feet this time, and then I decided to go and grab the soap. We got into this weird ring around the rosy game where I was evading him like a pro MLG gamer. Of course I escaped and dropped the soap into the pond. I then picked up the bra and both pairs of socks, finishing this task and moving on to the next. It was at this point we unlocked the secret to do, which was to make someone prune the prize rose. I put that off though and went about stealing the man's second slipper, bringing both of his feet out to the world, making me very, very turned on. All I needed to do now was drag the rose until it sat behind the squirrel topiary. I did the math, and a goose, which looked to be about the same size as the pot, is roughly 71,000 cubic centimeters. 71,000 cubic centimeters of potting soil, plus the pot itself, would weigh about 120 pounds. Way too heavy for a single goose to pull, further proving the fact that he possesses divine strength. But who cares? I messed with the topiary until the woman came to prune it, accidentally cutting off the rose in the process. Finally, having had enough, the woman grabbed her no goose sign, which opened a route for me to escape. I had a really fun time playing this game, so let me know down in the comments if you want to see more of it. To conclude, little boys tortured, 1. Feet licked, 2. Goose statues fucked, 1. And secret divine entities encountered, just me. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Deuces.